To be a self-directed learner or an autodidact, or to say this another way, teach yourself new things using or tapping into the power of AI chatbots, um, you have to understand the learning process. You have to be conscious of the learning process. It really benefits you if you understand the exact steps in the process of learning. So I'd like to walk through the 6 steps of the process that I've identified. So number one is establishing a goal. You have to articulate, define what it is you want to learn and why. And by doing this, it helps you sort of maintain focus. The next thing you're going to be doing is gathering information. So you're going out and doing research and gathering information, right, to sort of figure out what it is you need to know to achieve the goal. As you gather information, you have to vet that information. So you have to sort of decide whether or not it's really relevant to the goal. You might gather some information, but later decide it doesn't really fit the goal directly, or you need to it in order to achieve the learning goal. So you're vetting that information. The other way you're vetting the information is um, doing research to make sure it's accurate and factual information. It's correct. Fourth step is to, and this is where the deep work comes in terms of learning. In step four, you're trying to understand information. So if you decide, well, yeah, I need to understand this information to achieve the goal. This is one of the things I have to understand. Then you have to endeavor to really understand it. That's when you're really studying, working with that information, and trying to parse it out, break it down into its component parts, and understand each component, and sort of piece it together again to really make sure you understand what you're talking. Step five is to structure the information. So this is critical because our brains structure information. So if we consciously create a structure for the information, it's easier for our brains or our minds to absorb and integrate. So you want to structure the information. That's why when you take a class with a teacher-directed learning uh, process, um, you see structure really in two places. One, the syllabus, so the teacher's syllabus, and then number two, if you have a textbook, you see it in the textbook. That's where structure is brought into the whole process by a teacher. You have to serve that function if you're teaching yourself something. So you have to structure the information. Structure the information. It doesn't just help you internalize it. Doing the work of structuring the information, refining the structure, also helps you sort of absorb, internalize the information. And then the final step is integration. So you've got this new structured set of information. Now you have to do the work to integrate it into your mind. By integrating it, what you're really doing is finding an existing knowledge structure in your mind that it connects or intersects with. And that's how it's sort of a way to frame how you're understanding this new information, how you're fitting into what you're in. So that's it. Those are the steps in the learning process. And what you're going to do when you teach yourself something is systematically go through these steps, basically.